My name is Wajdi Ben Rajab. I have a PhD in management and I am an associate professor of management and entrepreneurship. I teach with universities here and I am an entrepreneur on the side. I embarked on entrepreneurship in 2010. I have co-founded startups operating in the fields of e-learning, online market research and online marketplaces of freight and transport. The characteristic of the OCI Lab mentorship experience is that I worked with several people in the MENA region, coming from different cultural and educational background, working on different ideas, and actually I have enjoyed the experience working with them and especially sharing with them my knowledge and experience. I believe the difference between OCI Lab and the offline incubators is at the first place the fact that you are working with people. When you work in an offline incubator with aspiring entrepreneurs, they are usually coming from the same country and even from the same region. Here we are working with people coming from Morocco, from Tunisia, from Egypt, from Lebanon, from Jordan. And it's very, very interesting to contribute to their entrepreneurship journey, even though you are working with them in a remote way. The second point is that the system of the labs and the workshops is very, very interesting, which will help the entrepreneurs to get higher chances of success when it comes to start their businesses and trying to get their first customers. Finding the solution and defining the value proposition. The path to follow is the Lean Startup methodology. Why the Lean Startup methodology? Because it is based on what we call the validated learning. It is an iterative process. We try to confirm with the customers all the details in the startup creation journey, and each time we find a problem or an issue, we go backward and we try to address it and to change it or to pivot with regard to the feedback and the insights we got with the customers. So this is why we are talking about an iterative process, validated learning. We try to define the problem, to test it with the customers, to think about the solution, to test it and to validate it with the customer. Then we move to the MVP or the prototype and so on and so forth. So the first one was about how to sketch hypothesis, and hypothesis is the starting point of all the Lean Startup approach. What is a hypothesis? Is kind of assumption that a belief is true and we are not sure if it is true or not, because it's about a problem or a solution that will be validated and tested with the customer. So the first thing is to sketch a set of hypotheses, and we try to test them later with the customers. Then also we have to think about your value proposition, and value proposition is answering the question why the customer should buy your product. What are the benefits that you are bringing to your customer, okay? And here it is about also defining what we call the value proposition, and the value proposition is kind of matching between the customer's expectations and the customer's issues. This is why we are talking about customer jobs, customers' pains, customers' gains, and what you are going to provide to the customer in order to help them to solve their problems. And here we are talking about your product, but also the gain creators and the pain relievers. The offline tasks were about sketching a set of hypotheses and thinking about the most important hypotheses, the ones, if you are wrong, will end the journey, and it will be a failure, okay? And also to define your value proposition and to prepare a value proposition canvas. And the offline tasks were very, very interesting because some people thought that they know their value proposition and it's well defined, while it's not the case. And so I tried through the feedback to help them, and especially to ask them to define the value proposition from the user perspective and not from your own perspective as an entrepreneur.